Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Corona. Although, as you'll know, if we're watching up to this point, we're not actually cooking with Corona, we are in fact cooking in a state of lockdown during Tier 2. That is, of course, unless you're watching this while suffering from COVID-19, in which case I suppose we are in fact cooking with Corona with respect to the connotations that appear within that sentence. Another thing of note is that we're not really so much cooking with Corona today as brewing with Corona. We are making some lovely Advocaat, which can also be made into something called the winter warmer or Snowball. We'll try it neat first. Lovely scent. Definitely taste the egg yolk. Now we add some lemonade to it. Often you'd add a dash of lime to it, but it's a silly lemonade. I think it should be sufficiently flavoured. Very nice. Oh, imagine if we could only make our own Advocaat. Well, fortunately, you don't have to imagine, because that's today's recipe at the moment. I remember I kept pronouncing Advocaat as Ararat. How very biblical, which is fitting actually, because it's a somewhat festive drink. The Snowball is something that people often have around Christmas time, although I did know an old lady that used to drink it at almost any time, but especially at Sunday dinner. I suppose you could look at the connection with snow because we also call it the winter warmer. That's why we connect it with Christmas time. I have got some water here that's quite hot, as you probably noticed, but not so hot that the blend's steamed up, as has been known to happen in the past. I'll just turn it up a little bit. I'm hybridising a recipe for this between that of Miss Simmons and Miss Parks, and I shall of course link their respective recipes below. One of them calls for 8 eggs, the other for 10. Tell you what, I'll meet in the middle and add 9. Now, when I say I need eggs, what I really mean is that I need egg yolk. The egg whites I shall require for other cooking. Separate the egg yolk from the whites, like so. One of the ways to do it, I've found, is to sort of drop the whole of the contents of the egg into the bowl, and then fish the egg yolk out with a spoon. Provided you don't break it, all should be well. There. See them swing about in there? Very well, here's all 9 of them. The first one splattered a bit, but all the rest are in here. I fear a teensy bit of white may have got in there, but hopefully it'll still work. Now some white granulated sugar. Measure that to about 170 grams, probably not the right thing, but whatever, we'll go with that. Put that in with the sugar. Pinch of salt in there. One recipe suggests using cinnamon, the other doesn't. I'll put some in anyway, just a little bit. By a little, I mean this much, which is quite a lot. Let's mix this first of all. Now, one of the recipes calls for quite a bit of brandy, the other a little less strong. Of course, they just have to do it in a different measurement than this jug portrays, don't they? One of the reasons that at least one of the methods does not use as much brandy as the other is because it happens to use vodka. I will not in this. By the way, you can use cognac if you prefer. I'm wandering blind with this, what with the measurements being so radically different. This jug only shows fluid ounces and litres, and oh yes, and yes. Yeah, fluid ounces, pints and litres, but not cupfuls. But I think, from looking at the converter online, I'm just about going to get it right. So, we'll go with 2 fluid ounces. Probably wrong, but it's a start. Little under 200, I think. Make it 150 milligrams, which is about a quarter of a pint. And whilst continuing to whisk these, you pour it in. So I'll just carry on at this. Whilst doing that, I shall pour these in. Just pour half of it in first. Keep mixing, mixing, mixing. All that lovely sugar, egg yolk. Ooh, I can smell the brandy. It has a very, very, very heady aroma. Very rich scent. So the half of it's gone in. Now I'll put the other half in. Trickle it in. Now both recipes call for vanilla pods. I don't seem to have any, so I'll have to make do with vanilla essence. No matter. One of the two calls for cooking it in a double boiler, which I don't have. But if you're in the same position, what you can do is take the bowl in which you have been mixing these things and place it in the hot water that I mentioned at the beginning of all this. Let it simmer. At low heat then, I promise you it is low heat, although it's beginning to wobble. Continue to stir. Continue to do this for about 8 minutes. Very well, 8 minutes. It has been on the heat. Now it's off. One of the two versions I'm following suggests 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. The other suggests 2. I think I'll go with 2 since I don't have the vanilla pod. Now that it's gone in, whisk in still more. I can smell, although it's just a small amount of vanilla compared to the fairly large amount of brandy that I put in it, I can smell them both. I shall enjoy this, I think. But it needs refrigerating once it's been bottled. So I'm going to continue to stir. I'll leave it to cool there for about half an hour. Right, well, half an hour has passed, if not more. I've left this to stand, as I said I would. I've got a little bottle here. Should be enough, I think. Little funnel. And I shall pour this in. Hopefully I shall only need the 1 bottle. Very well. I've bottled it. Not in the metaphorical sense, but literally. Now we just have to seal it over. Right, now the alternative for the winter warmer or Snowball, aside from having the Advocaat with cloudy lemonade, is to use this transparent lemonade here. Excellent. There we go. One drawback to this particular thing that I made is that it's quite thick and difficult to get out, so what I had to do was use these chopsticks to sort of stick in there and whisk around, and then I found I was able to pour. With lemonade, let's see. Snowball. Ooh. Nice sharp tang to it with the lime. It's lovely. Try it yourself if you like. Your own homemade Advocaat. I'd recommend doing what you can to keep it more liquid than I did, but it's still nice. Fully as lovely as the one that I bought ready-made when made in one of these. Try it yourself if you like, if you fancy. If you don't fancy, then don't. Thanks very much. Season's greetings. Ta-ta. Use this transparent lemonade here and squeeze a little lime in there. But not this lime because it's dry. Oh, it's lovely. I'll just get the lemon squeezer out and use that. Make it easier. Delicious.